Almost over.
Guys, I mean, all a bit of a pain, but we're going to start filing from the front, so that's all good. And so if people can, people feel comfortable and are able to, we just start shuffling forward a few things. Thanks, guys.
Oh, so we're trying to see how we're going to get in.
Second row's good, no audience participation yet. No. Wait, are they all? We'll go here.
Sorry.
Tá bom,
E tai ha mai ka mai motor ko tobe kulawa mai i poni ke kamata ai campaign pe mo launch ai whapoponga i pon ia Anahila e tau whapetai ko toa e pefo ki ai tai whiwhia ke speaker o poni ia o Pito William Shield ka mai ka taki ko toa pe o community tonga tau ka wataha pe mo popo e poni i he campaign i Anahila i he whituon i Papakulani tau whapetai ko toa pe kore moa ke kamata ke tau launch o e campaign o e poni a tau whapetai ke o tua pe a hilia e tau toki hoko atu e tau loto e o tua mafi koe mautamai whakahe vani a hoa whio mau whawhetai he mea kotoa pe ku mau ausia. Wa whamalo atu ke uhi koe kamataanga o e pōkoe, e moe kamata o e campaign launch Anahila Kanota i e pōni tau te whito ke he whitu koe o Papakula, mau kore atu ke lau maari e mafi hoa whio. Koe ngāwe koe niru koe koha mau ngāwe ke kumia i ha mau mawhai ka koe ngāwe koe ni u kumia i langi ka koe mafi o e oafio ko mau whatongia ke mau whaki pe mau ngāwe pa mai kakai ko hui pe koe whakatoa meirie ke te nau tolu o nofo masive siva o wikai ke iai ha nau mea a mo e taimi u kai ke nau si mau sia ke fusmo omo a api he mea kotoa pe pe o mau tui koe pōni, koe mau whina he pōni ke kamata ai launch koe pa mo e campaign a ana whikau aki pe mo e ne kumi ai lelei pe mo e whakatua meri e pa mai taha kotoa pe. Loving and gracious God, we come together as people. We are here tonight, campaign launch for Anahila Kanata this evening. But we ask your Holy Spirit to be with us in the beginning. When we begin with you, God, we start good and then we end in a very good result. We are also here tonight with our guest speaker, Vito William Shield tonight. We ask you to be with him and for all the leaders who are gathering here this evening to support Anahila tonight. Let us begin with a prayer tonight, and we ask you to be with us, to make this night an enjoyable evening for all of us. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
Labour Papakura and Anahila Kanongota welcome you to the campaign launch and fundraiser for the evening. Please welcome to the stage the second and third best looking men in the whole of the New Zealand Parliament after Opito William Seo. It is Paul Eagle and Tawasi Kofi. Gosh, who is that guy? Woo! Tutahi ake tēnei ka mihi atu kia koutou katoa, koutou kua tai mai nei ki te hāpai tēnei kaupapa. He mihi anō ki te mana whenua o tēnei rohe o Tāmaki Makaurau. Nei rā te mihi kia rātou. Me te kingi Māori, kingi Tuheitia, ka nui te mihi kia ia me te kāhui ariki kei tōna taha. Ki ngā mate, kua whiturangi hia ki rungi te korowai o rangi nui, haere atu rā ngā mate, rātou kia rātou, tātou kia tātou, tēnā koutou, Māori ora kia tātou katoa.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome, and it's our pleasure, on behalf of Tawati Coffee and myself, Paul Eagle, to be your MCs for this evening. And we've come all the way to Papakura and South Auckland. Woo! Be with our Tongan sister Anahila Kanongata, although I see she's put an L in her name, so it should be a W for winner of kura in 2023. But nonetheless, we just want to acknowledge our mana whenua here. We're in Tainui country. Those who have gone before and past in recent times, and blessings to you all, our Labour whānau and friends and whānau of Anahila. Kia ora.
Kia ora. Can I take a chance as well to acknowledge our parliamentary colleagues who are sitting there front row? Kia ora, kia ora. Over here we have the best looking man in Parliament. His name is the Honourable Peter William Seo. Kia ora.
Recently back from Samoa, he left. He looks a lot slimmer now he's come back. And I was with him in fact. I will talk about that later.
On the other side of him, please a round of applause for the MP for Takaanini. His name is Anai Neru Devasa.
If you've got a latest copy of the Men's Fashion Quarterly, he features on page 3. So that's his latest fundraiser, so my lord.
And sitting next to Anai we have Lamona Lydia Sosene, who is our Labour candidate for Māngere this year and a current Labour list MP and my very good friend and colleague too. So thank you to our Labour colleagues, and it wouldn't be complete without a little acknowledgement to our good sister Anahila Kanongata'a. Please stand. Anahila L. Kanongata'a. Yeah, our friendship with Anahila goes a long way, and it goes back to when we came into Parliament in 2017. The two Māori boys found the Tongan girl and embarked on a political journey, and we've had a whole lot of fun. It is our final year in politics. We are signing out this year, but we are throwing all of our weight and support behind our sister and our Labour team to ensure that we have a Labour government after the elections in October, on October the 14th. Big round of applause, please, for our Labour efforts and our Labour team.
You may not have noticed how good looking we are because Anahila has gone to some lengths to make sure. In fact, we'll just come out here so we can parade. But he's a mighty slimming, I must say. So we soon we'll graduate to white, but today we're red and white. But I must say, like, first time for me. I've been to many Tongan Methodist Church services, but never had the honour and privilege of wearing this. So thank you, Anahila. And we've got our, in fact, in the crowd somewhere, there's our dressmaker right here.
Please stand. Please stand.
Get to. Interestingly, I had a pair of Levi jeans and I said, I'm size 38, and she goes, I don't think so, you're 44. So just a little honesty when giving measurements, so a little tip for those who are trying to be slim like Neru Levasa, but actually 44, 30, yeah. We'll get it right next time.
And also, I can't go without acknowledging these beautiful lei that we have around our necks. I've never smelt this good in a very long time. So thank you to our person that made these as well. Where are you? There you go. Thank you. Please stand. Thank you very much. And that's my son down there, to Tanakai Smith Coffee. Stand and give everybody a wave to Tanakai. Wave out to him. We've made this a completely family event down here. We decided that we would come together tonight to celebrate the launch of Papakura Labour's campaign, but also to support our good friend Anahila as well. All right, we are going to talk a little bit less, and we've got a lot of stuff to get through tonight. So, first of all, Paul, if you want to do the introduction for the first set.
So we've got a big night here for you, but you will get home before midnight. So don't panic. But we've got our Toalunga, and we've got none other than Malu, who's at King's College, but she hasn't got the King's College Polynesian Club here tonight. But she's got Lupe, and for those that know Lupe and Malu, this will be good. So, no mai haere mai.
Big round of applause, please, for Lupe and Malu. Right, thank you, Malu. Thank you, Lupe. Up next we have a song which has been composed by Anahila's grandfather, whose name was Isoa Kanongata'a, and the song was called Tapu Moi Awhio. And our crew are going to play it for us now.
Marlon, thank you. And one thing we forgot to put out is we've got a special basket here.
A basket of love.
Marlon. And this is for your millions of dollars.
Push it closer to the stage.
Yeah, oh, wait.
So that
Where can we put it? Where will the money come over here?
and I can watch it.
I know it's...
He'll christen it.
Yeah, mate, just bless. In fact, I know I might want to start off the money trail. He's good like that. You know those Samoans are used to this.
It was quite funny because we were standing at the back going, you know what? If people want to put some money on Manu and Lupe, how will they get up on the stage? And then the basket got pushed in our direction. It just should have done that before. That's okay. Go.
And we've got the first 15. I've just counted there's 15, and Anahira said that's my first 15. So she comes with her personal rugby team come choir. But on a more serious note, the next song was written or composed by Hamitili Kangunga Ta'a, who passed away recently, for those who don't know. And so we're going to hear Tapu Moi Fuka here from the Taua, and that's the name of the beautiful song that we're about to hear. But look, you know, if the hands are a bit sore, the basket is even more saying, please film me. So in this beautiful waiata, then we've got our security guard Neru, and the money will start flowing from the beautiful words.
Malo. Next up, we've got a special guest coming onto the stage. His name is Jason Hitchin, and he's the chair of the Papakura Local Electorate Committee for the New Zealand Labour Party. So for those people that don't know, the way that we organise ourselves as Labour is that we have particular committees that sit over every single electorate. And if you're fortunate enough to go to a Labour Party meeting, you may end up with one of the roles, either as a secretary or a treasurer or something like that. Jason here is the chair, and what I want to do just before I bring him up is just acknowledge that we do have some people who have decided to put their hand up for Labour this year in the election. If you are one of those people, can you stand up in your chair right now? Down in the back corner, here in the middle, and a big round of applause for them both. Thank you for the work that you're about to do as we all head onto the campaign trail. I hope that you can find support and solidarity with all of us that are Labour members as you head forward on your journey. So kia ora. Let's bring up Jason up to the stage. There he goes, right behind us. Give him a round of applause, everybody. The chair of Papakura Labour, Jason Hitchin. There you go. Hitchin. Yes.
Tēnā koutou katoa. Nau mai, haere mai, ki Papakura. Malo I lei. Good evening. My name is Jason Hitchin, and it's an absolute pleasure being the Papakura LEC Chair. I am privileged to be here tonight to welcome you all to the Labour Papakura campaign launch for our wonderful Papakura Labour candidate, Anna Heller. I'd like to acknowledge the Honourable Opito William Sera, MPs Paul Eagle and MP Timothy Coffey. Also MPs Dr. Anai Neru Lee Avasa, and also Limonga Lydia Sosini. Also acknowledge our sub-help chair, Anne Singh. So we can see who you are. I don't want to name any names that I might miss someone. I also acknowledge our community leaders, faith leaders, and each and every one of you here tonight in support of Anna Heller and of Labour. I am going to keep it short and sweet, just like me, and just say this. When I first met Anna Heller, I noticed she has a strong voice, plenty of hair, and the selfie queen of the ages. Anna Heller immersed herself in the diverse Papakura communities, and it didn't matter if it was 1,000 people or just 2. What MP do you see playing mahjong, knitting, using recycling to learn and improve life skills, and community gardening? And I grew the broad beans, if you get any. Anna Heller connects with people and shows leadership using an important skill that a lot of leaders ignore. That's listening. Papakura doesn't have a visible elected MP, but with Anna Heller, we have a visible representative presence in our community. She's been here for the highs and our very lows. During the awful weather events, such as flooding, Anna Heller was the voice for our communities. She brought in ministers to experience Papakura's issues firsthand. She's an advocate and a connector. She is Papakura's voice in Wellington and the spaces that she occupies. I did get emotional thinking this up, even though it's a short speech, it has been a long journey. This is my 3rd year as chair. And I think Anna Heller has been with us 4 years. And there's a lot of memories in that time. there is a bit of Anahila in all of us here in Papakura, and also a fair amount of ginger slice. Now, do you remember what's on the parliamentary sign for Anahila? It says Labour list MP based in Papakura. Tonight, we have taken the first step, and we're going to change that sign to Labour MP for Papakura come October 14th. As chair of Papakura LEC, I declare Operation Crush the Crusher is a go. Nō reira, tēnā koutou katoa.
Thanks, Jason. And I just want to acknowledge all of the Labour members here. Who's a Labour member from Papakura local electorate? Hands up. Woo! Well, the good news is you all are now by default by coming. So start thinking about what that means for a sign on your gate. Not only money, but sign and lots of volunteering hours. So when that call comes and you go, oh, it's Anahila, oh. I'll keep ringing. So that's not the attitude. The attitude is, yeah, it's Anahila. I'm going out to volunteer for her for my whole Saturday. Okay, so that's the new way. Is that what you wanted me to say? I mean, and Jason touched on many things. She is a big voice in Wellington. The speeches are a lot longer, like 30 seconds, usually about 10 minutes. So everything's big. But there is no better representative for this part of Auckland, an important part. It takes so long to get here on the motorway. I mean, everything about Papakura is big, long, you name it. But Anahila's the right person. But where's Tamati? Well, we've got some auction items here. So as well as like that will be too heavy to carry out after this, we've also got some wine, and I think they might be it's from Obito. So the vineyards of Mangere. Soon Limonga's vineyard, but she can't claim to own that until the election. So it's still Obito's vineyard. And what sort of wine have we got here, Thomas?
Well, yes, it's one from the vineyards of South or Central Otago.
Savai'i, Central Otago, same thing. Same thing, they look the same. I've been to Savai'i, they look the same.
And it is a 2022 Pinot Noir. Ooh. And it's signed with love from Opito Williamsio.
Oh, Malo Opito, yeah.
Hang on, we don't want you to clap, we want you to bid. So here's the catch. Worth many hundreds of tala in Savai'i. But here in Papakura, who's going to be our first bidder? We'd like somebody to bid on these two, and the money will go into the basket of love. But we're going to start the bidding on this beautiful bottle of Central Otago Pinot Noir. We're going to kick it off at a good round 50. Let's start at a 50. Who wants to bid a 50 on the bottle of wine? 50 over here, thank you, sir. Let's go up by 50s. Let's see if we can get a hundy for this bottle. Thank you. Down here, 150. Down here, thank you very much.
Take some out of the Takanini account.
Takanini,
Very good. Transfer from Samoa to Tonga. Good.
Let's go for another 50. Let's see if we can get 200 for this, which remember, we're here for a fundraiser tonight. Kia ora. You thought you dropped your money in the bucket of love and that was it, but no. That's not how we work in the New Zealand Labour Party. A 200 in here? 200?
Remember, these are the grounds of Savai'i. Those grapevines went in by hand, grew with God's love.
Two down here. Thank you very much. 250.
Some more money out of Takanini.
Thank you. 250 over here. 3. No, stop yelling, son. Stop yelling. This is not the time to be yelling, my boy. 250 somewhere other than the child that doesn't know what he's talking about. We're going for 3. It's making me nervous. 300 down here. Thank you very much. 350. No, I blocked him out. What were we at?
300.
300. 300 going down here once, going twice. Sold. Thank you very much. And the good news is, to our other friend, we have another bottle. Now this one has also been generously donated by the Honourable Opito William Seal, and it is a Merlot from Hawke's Bay 2021. If you wanted to open the bidding, say at 250, we'd be in the same place we were just a moment ago.
Well, who was 200? Who got to 200?
This was 200 down here. Let's start it at 200 down here. And if there was a 250, not you, then I'm happy to let it go at 200 going once, 200 going twice. Sold. Thank you. Let's give the bottles over, because then we've got a contract. Thank you very much.
This is going to Takanini. Usually about 9 kilometres down the road, but it takes about 2 hours on the motorway.
Thank you to our bidders. You have a GPS tag in your bag, and the dogs will go for you if you leave the door without paying. So we'll make sure that we clock you before then. And the best part is that as you were walking in the door, you were also frisked for some raffle tickets. This is the first. Model that, please, sir. This is it's a lovely weaved basket. There's a fan in there, but we all really want to know that there's chocolates in there too. Thank you to all of those people that bought a ticket on your way in the door. I'm going to ask our Reverend to draw out the lucky winner, and if you draw your own, sir, we may have to have another discussion. Just one ticket, just one. Oh, yeah. Oh,
the chocolates,
just one.
lava in there as well. Basket. Is that from Takanini?
And the winner is 15, a yellow spade Ivanica. Actually, they all have Ivanica's name on them. Thank you and congratulations. Round of applause, please.
I'll just put it near the basket for a little hint of...
Just give it to her. Oh, kia ora, kia ora, kia ora. All right, next up we have our musical set number 2. Do the honours, Bryce, please.
Okay, number 2, we've got...
I'm not going to lie. Anahila calls up the 2 Māori boys to be her MCs and then gives us a program with some very long Tongan names on them. And so I said to Paul before we started the show, I think you're on names tonight. And so give him a break, cut him a bit of slack as he reads out our musical set that's coming up next.
Okay, so we've got, this is normal for, like we have a signal text message, and the messages are very short from Anahila. Do what I say or else. And that's why we're here tonight. But this one's from Her Majesty the late Queen Salote, and it's Tauranga, and we've got Angelina. Yeah? She's performing for us tonight.
Yeah. And what's the name of the fussy?
Fussy, Upe o Manu Ma Tāno. Here we are.
Yeah.
Thank you, Angelina. Woohoo! All right, now next time we expect to see Neru, more participation, please, brother. But nonetheless, wasn't that amazing? And we've got some more amazing talent coming up. Now, where's our wee friend? We've got an item from a dance from Osole Mio. So where is the little fella? It's the song. Yep. Oh, that's what our little man was doing. Oh. Our first 15, there we are.
Beautiful. Beautiful. Sole mio. That was a beautiful piece, obviously, and you will have heard it before. A lovely composition, and it was composed by, who was that composed by, Paul?
Who we got here? Eduard o Te Kapua Alfredo. It sounds like an Italian pizza to me.
Alfredo Mazzucci. Yeah, rolls off the tongue. There you go. Another round of applause, please, for our soloist. The Triple Jubilee team. Brilliant job. Thank you. Good job. Our next fussy.
We've got an E Papa Island remix.
Sing along.
Makue kote o hi
Thank you, first of all, to our first 15, the never-ending jukebox that we very much appreciate. Thank you to all of you and to our colleagues for making that little number exactly what it was. But can I just say that what just happened on stage happens in a really beautiful, authentic way in Parliament when we have those kinds of occasions where we come together. You are well represented by a very strong Pacific caucus in Wellington within the Labour Party, and it's something that we're incredibly proud of. Our Pacific caucus bring diversity, they bring brownness, beauty, and all of those B's that Opito always talks about.
Yeah. Six B's, or we have to eight
or 12, something like that. But actually a reinforcement that these people are the faces of our Pacific community in Wellington, and they're only half of the ones that are actually part of our Pacific caucus, but that diversity that our Pacific caucus brings is not to be undervalued.
And what you'll often see, and I know no one will watch Parliament TV here, and if you do, there's plenty of other great stations on TV. But if you do watch Parliament TV, you'll see it expressed. So at about 2 o'clock, when Parliament sits, sometimes the Speaker acknowledges different ethnicities, and you'll see Anahila, Neru, Limonga talk in their native language in terms of the Lord's Prayer. So it's a small thing, but I can tell you what, that place has been operating a very long time, and that is not normal. So when someone says to me, I heard a Samoan or Tongan prayer, I said that's becoming the norm. And speaking of the norm in terms of Pacific, we've got a special speaker next.
Yeah, that's right, we do. I say this with sincerity in my heart. There are a few of us MPs that are resigning, leaving, retiring from the world of politics, and we share a commonality with the Honourable Pituali Museo, in that we are all retiring this election. He brings with himself a wealth of experience, a wealth of respect and mana that he has in the community that he comes from, but also in the House as well. He is the Samoan grandfather of the House, can I say that? Yeah, he is the Samoan grandfather of the House.
Pacific
grandfather of the House, and we welcome him up onto the stage to give some words. Please a big round of applause for the Honourable Pituali Museo.
And I said to you at the start that I recently went to Samoa, so we had the pleasure of, I had the pleasure of visiting Matatufu in the Otawhanga district where Opito is from, and it was an amazing experience, but I won't reveal too much because he's the man himself. What goes on to a stage here?
I can't hear myself. When we come together in Aotearoa, New Zealand, I'm always mindful that we acknowledge mana whenua first and foremost. And I do so here because of this part of land belonging to Tainui and the role of Kingitanga to Heitia, Portatau, to Wheruwheru Tuawhitu. Acknowledge and thank them for continuing to support Pacifica and working with us for a long time. Can I also acknowledge all the whaiwhikau who are in the room. Thank you for beginning our service tonight. There are so many old friends and familiar faces who are here. In Dubai, I want to single you out. You've been a stalwart of the Labour Party in South Auckland for many, many years. Seems like you and I have lost a fair amount of hair. And thank you for your continued support. I think Sefita is probably the grandfather of the Tongan community that I've worked with. acknowledged him and many other members of the Tongan community, family and friends of Anahila. Can I also acknowledge the Chair, Jason, for your constant work, and all the Labour Party members. And I say that because I'm conscious that not everybody's a Labour Party member, but you're here supporting our sister here. MP for Takanini and Naya. And then, of course, the Maunga Lydia Sosene, who will be the candidate for Mangere, replacing me, and give her my utmost support and confidence in what she's got to do in Mangere. It seems like we've adopted two Māori Tongans from Paul Igor, the MP for Rongotai, Wellington, and Tamati Coffee, who's come all the way with his son and family from Rotorua. And of course, we then have Anahila Kanongataha. We've gotten rid of the Suisi Ki along the way. And that's okay because the Suisi Ki is the Samoan from Satapoala village, and I am Toi Susulu of Satapoala village, so yeah. I want to just say a few things about Anahila, and I'm glad and thank you for the opportunity to be here. She came in, the party does things in certain ways, and I remember 2008, there was a young woman in the party decided to present her as the first Tongan MP. And then 2014, another young woman came along and the party presented her as the first Tongan-speaking MP. And then in 2017, Anahila came along, and it was like, there's your genuine Tongan, the full package in Parliament. And when she delivered her maiden speech, I had just been sworn in as a minister and was asked to go to COP in Germany. And along the way, we visited Pope Francis to get his blessing, because that's what the Pacific Island Forum leaders want. And I remember getting up early in the morning to listen to her speech. And I thought, gosh, Parliament will be hearing a typical Tongan speech for the first time. And almost all of the speech was about the acknowledgement of the people, including myself. And I thought, oh gosh, that's going to be a shock to Parliament. And yet you and I in the community are used to those speeches. That we are so respectful of the people in the room that it's always important to acknowledge that. And Anahila did that in her maiden speech. And I think you're limited to about 10, no more than 15 minutes. I think her speech went beyond. And I suppose that was Anahila stamping her mark that I am who I am in an environment that, as Paul has said, it's an environment that goes back to England and the way it's structured, etc. Anahila, I have to say, she was very, very different from all the Pacific MPs, and there are 11 of us. And it's not just different in a bad way, it's different in every which way. Her hair is all over the place. She wears her tawala everywhere. And so I think she won the award from Jacinda to be the selfie queen of Parliament. Because everywhere. And then when she did that, she copied that from me, obviously. When she did that, then Anaya and some of the others started copying, trying to do the selfies all the time. She is the chair of our Pacific Caucus and started doing that job in 2020. And I have to say, Anahila, maybe I have not said this, but in front of all of our colleagues in our community, you have been the hardest working chair of that Pacific Caucus. and there's only been 2 chairs. I was the first one. and you're the second one. And I generally mean that. And the way that you've organised the caucus, meeting people, bringing them to our meetings. You know, during the COVID period, I was busy as the Associate Minister of Health trying to dictate to the officials what I wanted it done. And our caucus on Signal would share what we were eating, and it began with the women. And of course, I had just lost a good 20 kilos before we went into the lockdown. And soon we were just watching everybody. So the Māori caucus and the Women's caucus and all the other caucuses were talking seriously about policy. We were showing each other the food we were eating and showing off. And then Anahila decided we've got to do something about all our weight. And so we started, and with Dr. Nehru and some of the others, we started on an 8-week challenge. We've been doing all of those 8-week challenge since being in lockdown. And I think of all of us, Anahila's the only one that's really lost weight. And the problem with us is that after putting our money in and distributing the money for the winner would then buy KFC for all of us. And as the Associate Minister of Health, I would say, please don't do that. It's just bad. But then I'd end up eating it because it's in front of them. She is a mother, and here's the thing. As a male Samoan who has many children, but is no good at looking after those children, I observe how our women MPs conduct themselves. And it is a challenge. And I know Nahila is no different, but when something happens to her children, she leaves Parliament. And the good thing is the whip seems to be a lot more supportive of that. And I suppose in many ways, I think if I go back and reflect on when she became an MP in 2017, I knew Anahila before that as a social worker out in the community. And I have to say, the minute that Anahila set her sights on becoming an MP, she literally fought the impossible. And that our processes for getting up there literally is a fight and negotiations. These two will know we have a list conference tomorrow here in Auckland region, and that list conference you're trying to beat the others on a number that gets sent to Wellington on where you will stack up on the list. And to everybody's surprise, Anahila managed to persuade people throughout the whole party that she deserved a high number in 2017 when she came in, 2014, got in 2017. And she's going to have another battle again here in this, because this is going to be a really challenging election. But I have to say, myself, as grandfather of the Pacific Caucus, I hate, that's ageism, so don't say grandfather. I'm asking Carmel and all of my colleagues, our strategy as a Pacific Caucus is to hold on to our MPs that we currently have. And I've acknowledged and I've said to our new candidates, use this opportunity for learning, but let's focus on our existing MPs so that we are taking them over the line in this coming election. Which means we really need your support for Anahila. And I'm really grateful for Jason saying that you're going to crush the crusher in this election and win. Now here's the thing. According to the polls, that's an impossible focus. But as people of faith, as people who believe in miracles, things can happen. And I know Crusher's not happy in Parliament. And I know that half of that caucus don't want her to be the leader and the other half don't want Chris Luxon to be the leader. So you figure out how to do that. But I am asking my colleagues, and I'm asking you to back this woman here who is a fighter, who understands who she is, very confident in her identity, but in being confident in her identity, she also is quite passionate for all of the community. And I know in all of her speeches, she's using Te Reo as well as her Tongan. I think for the first time ever, I've seen a lot more of the Tongan community in Wellington and elsewhere go into Parliament. It's not a welcoming place, and yet it's your place. And I think the work that she's done with our Pacific Caucus has enabled that to happen. My final comment is why you should vote for this government, or vote for the parties that might form a coalition government. Because I think there are no perfect parties, no perfect governments, but there are governments who are trying to do the right thing for everybody. And then there are potentially parties who are only thinking about themselves, or a select few. I can tell you hand on heart as somebody who's leaving the political arena, when I listen to the rhetoric of the National Party and the ACT Party, I condemn them. And every time I get a chance in there, I'm trying to pick a fight on them. Because their rhetoric is about divide and rule. Their rhetoric is about only a select few. There's some good people in there, but I suspect what happens is when you're led by individuals influenced by money from behind, their focus is very much different from what we are trying to do in the Labour Party here. We've done some fantastic work, but obviously there are still things that we haven't been able to get across the line. And it is challenging in there, but this woman here, Anahila, has been a constant advocate for issues that beset Papakura and issues that have been troubling our communities for a long time, and one of them being immigration. And so you have an advocate who generally thinks about our community. And I've always respected, and thank you, Anahila, for your acknowledgement of me as the Matai, and you continue to acknowledge me even sometimes when I get grumpy at you and some of the others. So with that, I do ask that you support it. Whamole, can we just give one big hand to the band and our singers? If there is still a Samoan song in there, I'm going to invite the Mangere people here to come up and siva with me, and whatever coins they may have left in their pockets, I'm going to ask them to drop it in the basket, and that is our contribution to our heroes.
Ladies and gentlemen, can we get a round of applause for Opito William Seal, retiring Member of Parliament for Mangere. I'm just going to say what were the 6 or 8 Bs, just as a reminder.
The 6 Bs is people who are proudly brown, beautiful, brainy, bilingual, bicultural, bold. But in Mangere, of course, we're 8 Bs, because we're just brilliantly blessed.
Opito was on the Manukau City Council in those days, and he was Deputy Mayor of Manukau City. And I remember early on he used to say, Manukau, the face of the future, and where the sun shines brightest. That was the start of every speech. So we've progressed to 8 Bs. Okay, our first has been band, our beautiful choir.
Mino,
Thank you, Pito. And our brothers and sisters from Mangere.
Speaking of Mangere, here's another bottle of wine that we are going to auction off that's been signed by the Prime Minister, the Right Honourable Chris Hipkins. I don't know what the connection was to Mangere then, but you know, it allowed me to talk about the next auction item.
Could be Villa Maria.
No, it's not. It's actually from Hawke's Bay. Hawke's Bay, which has had a pretty tough time recently, and obviously our hearts go out to all of those people that are still trying to work through the damage of Cyclone Gabriel. This is a good opportunity for us to auction off an item to add a little bit more love to the basket of love.
So campaigns cost money. So when you have a sign on your fence with Anahila's face, big hair, then that all costs money, and you've got brochures, you've seen some brochures, these all add up. And someone's got to pay the bills, and it's all volunteer driven in the main. The party gives you some advice around the branding, of course, red and white, colours of Tonga, of course, and they give you other bits and pieces, but actually a lot of the money comes from candidates themselves. So all of the candidates who are standing here today, a lot of it comes from their own back pocket. And so we're here today for Anahila, so every little bit counts.
Absolutely, and thank you to all of those people that have generously donated to this point. I'm going to start this auction off for this signed bottle of wine, and you can see on the side it's got the signature of the Right Honourable Chris Hipkins, aka Chippy, and you're allowed to call him Chippy, he's all good with that. But I'm going to open up the bidding for this at
$50. We take Pito.
Pito's got one.
We take any currency, brother.
I don't know that we do, Eagle. 50 down here. 100.
We're starting small at 50. We've got 100.
We've got 100 there. Thank you very much. 150.
Jason, thank you.
Kia ora.
200.
Down the back in the middle. Kia ora, 200. Thank you.
$200. 250. 250. Come on. Oh, Pito. 250. Try Pito.
Did you put your hand up?
Yeah, I saw a little sneaky. I mean, at this point,
I thought it was just taking the liberty.
At this point, any movement, a little slight, like, oh, I just checked my phone, that's $300. So warning, stay still, like, don't look at me. Tim, watch it.
I put my hand up.
Oh, hey.
That's for a 3?
350. Yeah.
That's for a 3.
There was a cell phone on the way. Just like Anahila, taking selfies of yourself, that's good. 350, we're at 350, 400. 400.
400 over here. Thank you, sir.
That gets you many Anahila signs. Might even get you Anahila personally to put the sign
Yeah,
up.
sure.
Maybe.
Yeah, at that price, yeah.
450. 450 for a bottle of...
In the middle.
Oh, yeah, we can see it now.
Cool.
We're up to 500. 500, that's like, how many family packs at KFC? It's 5 family packs. I don't know, yeah. I mean, Pito knows really. The Pacific Caucus are very well tuned into discounts at KFC. But $500. 550.
Hang on, weren't we at 450?
We're at 500. Yeah.
Oh, are we? Who bid at 500?
Our sister with the cell phone.
Kia ora.
George, put your hand down, otherwise Anahila will tell us off. Oi. Hey.
How much?
500.
Woo! 500.
Yeah, 500.
Yeah, 500. 500 sounded good. Give the man a round of applause. I think we're going to wrap it up and around here. Going once,
Twice.
going twice. Sold. Thank you, sir.
Anahila, can you put the sign up, please?
Timmy, can you run that up that way?
He doesn't drink wine.
You can
Even better, your friends will love you.
Oh, down there?
Oh, down here. Oh, yep. Oh, so the bidding happened here, the drinking will happen not there. Okay. Oh, good. It's also time for us to draw a raffle. So could you just hold that for us and tell us what you see in there? This is the red circle. So if you have one of these tickets sitting in your pocket, please look for it so that you can put your hand up when your number is called. What's in there, Eagle?
I saw something like fragrance and I went, But then I saw toffee pops. Woo! Toffee pops, layers of temptation. Like we're tempting you today. What else is in there?
I see diffusers, I see soap, I see a pamper package. That's what I see. Let's speed things up. Well, Peter, would you come and draw a number out of the bag? That one. This one goes to...
We've got 17A with 4 red dots. So start checking. I'm not seeing any movement from anyone. No one looks excited.
And now we have to say the name. Ungatea. Woo! Is that you? Congratulations. Come on up and get your hamper of love.
Oh, we don't mind doing laps. It's okay.
Oh, so I have to bring it up. Hello.
Okay. Oh, yeah, I was just... Oh, verifying the ticket. Yes, let's verify that. Yes.
No proof required. It's Tonga. We trust. Full trust.
Thank you very much. All right, next up we have one of the final dancers for the night. This is Ofena's dance. Anahila's campaign manager. Let's just acknowledge that. Is she out there? Yes, she is. Come on out here. Can I see you? Come on. This is a really good chance to acknowledge the people that sit behind the scenes and do this kind of stuff out of the love in their heart. So Ofena is the campaign manager for Anahila this election, which means, which means that when you have a campaign manager, and we know this because we have been candidates, you have to have a campaign manager that you absolutely trust. Somebody who knows you backwards and forwards, somebody that you can whip you into shape and say, hey, get out of bed, or keep going at the end of a really long day.
It'd be difficult for saying no to Anahila.
Very difficult.
Oh, she's your relative.
You can't say no to Anahila. But actually, I just want to acknowledge the role that you're going to play into this election, and good luck, and kia kaha, and all the best. I'm sure Anahila will be there for you the whole way. Tonight we have your whānau actually dancing, don't we? Oh, no, not you. You can't dance. But we also want to say happy birthday to Ofena's mother, who is having her birthday today, and she's coming on today with her whānau.
Mums and pink.
Thank you, Mum, and happy birthday to you. The next dance is coming up right now. Are there dancers out the back?
Are there dancers in the back? Let's check.
Round of applause, everybody.
Beautiful. Hello.
Round of applause, everybody.
And so we're just before we get our member on the stage for a speech. We've got our band here, our choir, our first 15, going to give us one from Whiniala here.
Malo, malo, malo.
We got that down pat.
We have, very soon, we're getting Anahila up to come and address everybody to give a bit of a talk about her journey, and obviously her journey in the next few months ahead as she tracks towards becoming the new Labour MP for Papakura. That's right.
Jason's excited about that. It's good.
Before we do that though, we have a bottle of wine that Anahila has signed herself personally. This here is a Chilean, I'll say that again. This is a bottle of wine from Chile, and it's a Pinot Noir. And that's all you need to know really. Yeah, pretty picture of some mountains on the front. There you go. And Anahila has kindly put that up for auction. This is going to be one of the last bottles that we auction, the last bottle that we auction. So let's get straight into this one with an opening bid of $50.
200 from Jason.
I like this man down here.
Getting very excited tonight.
Yes, he is.
Okay.
And the excitement continued. $250.
250. Do we have?
Oh, Jason, you're looking good. You're looking good. 200 going once. 200 going twice. What, Stuart?
No, sorry.
Oh yeah, we're getting a thumbs up at 250. Hey, 250 over in that corner. Kia ora. 300.
Who's got 300?
See, now because the kid's gone and bid, no one wants to outbid the kid.
What about if Anahila came over and... How can we get Anahila into this?
I don't know. I think we're good. Remember, we've still got a really big hamper at the back that we are going to auction. So I'm kind of happy to let the kid, not go away with a bottle of wine, but take it back to mum and the whānau. So we're looking at 250 over in that corner, going once, going twice. Sold. Come on, please, you.
Maybe for Auntie Anahila.
Come on, man.
We'll stop about here. Okay. Same. No, okay. Oh, no. That's for Holy Communion at the Wesley Church. Yeah.
And last up, we have our final raffle of the night, and this is the final gift basket. We're going to hold it up. It too has a bottle of wine in there. There are other treats in there as well, some preserves, some relishes, some mixes, nuts. It's a pamper hamper, that kind of thing.
It's not the sort of food I see in the Pacific Caucus meetings, but this is healthy.
It is healthy. Jason, why don't you draw this one for us?
But it is heavy.
You need more arm. Okay. How's that going for you? Just one. This one is a green spade, 44F.
This one's familiar.
Ongatea. Tonight is your night. You want to go and buy a lotto ticket after this. Wherever's still open, try and go and get one. But Ongatea, congratulations. This is your hamper. We'll bring it over to you.
Tom and love.
Beautiful, beautiful. Speaking of beautiful, it is our job now to bring up onto the stage our good friend and colleague, Anahila L. Kanongata. And she is going to take a moment to address our crowd here today. And while she moves up onto the stage, it's appropriate that we just share a couple of reflections on our good friend,
slowly,
on our sister over here.
Very slowly.
When I first met Anahila in 2017 properly, because I had seen her at Labour conferences, it's what happens when you go to Labour conferences. You see lots of people, you get to know people. And in 2017, when we were first initiated into Parliament, I had a very wise person say to me, there's not many people that you need in Parliament, but what you do need are a couple of really good friends that you can rely on. People that will help get you through the really tough times, because Parliament is a tough place. And from a very, very early moment, becoming a new MP, I found a couple of mates, and they were people that made me laugh regularly and often, people that were humble and knew when to step up and be bold and be confident, but also knew when it was time to step back into the shadows and push other people forward. And I was fortunate enough to meet two very beautiful people, and I will carry them as very good friends of mine for the rest of my living days. Yes, Paul Eagle is one of them, and he provides endless inspiration and wisecracks, and I love that about him. But I also love about Anahila that she is a woman of truth. She is a grandmother of her mokos. She is a very staunch Tongan Pacific woman, and she carries it with her regularly and often, and sometimes even jibes me for being, she says, hey, shouldn't you Māoris be doing this? And she challenges me, and it's really good, because she lives an authentic life and is therefore able to really challenge. And when Opito said before, she wears her tauwala all around Parliament, she does that because it's her true authentic self. And so it is my pleasure actually to be standing here with you, sister, tonight on your campaign launch night, knowing that you've got a big fight ahead of you. But there is nothing that I would rather be doing right now than being here to support you on your political journey as we step back into the shadows, but take our moment to push you forward and do everything that we can to support you. I love you.
I'll say a few words before she gets to the main stage. But look, can I just reinforce what Tamati has said? I remember seeing her name because in the Labour Party you see the different parts of New Zealand, and we're split into 6 regions. And in Region 1, where Auckland Northland is, I used to see this name and I said, but I heard her, when I heard that person at conference, I thought, that's Anahila Kanongata. And I thought, wow. And I was in awe, really, because she spoke so well. I was confident in her identity and just proud. And unlike others, she's come to the Parliament here in Wellington, where I'm from, and just continued that. So she hasn't changed her values or her principles. She said, this is me and I'm proud. So as much as she frustrates me or us, I love her to bits. And I grew up in the Methodist Church with my father being a Methodist minister for half a century, and I remember early on the Tongan congregations. In those days, Balangi ministers would have almost control over the Samoan and Tongan congregations, and so it was very much part of my life. And so when I used to see this one with the Pacific Caucus, I thought, what fond memories. And all of it, and we have been with Anahila on many trips, many journeys, and it certainly isn't going to end here tonight, but I'd rather be nowhere else tonight either. And when she said, I mean, you don't really get an option, she said, you two are coming to be the MCs, and their brochure's already printed. So you can't, even if you had something else on, you need to go, well, I sort of can't now because I'm the MC in Auckland. And so, but that's how Anahila is. And you know, we need people like her in the Labour Party, in the New Zealand Parliament, because my fear is if we don't get her up on the list, then this will be lost. And we need the authenticity. She is our true Tongan in every way. Our Lord, love you.
Oh, thank you, brother. So, do you want to give me that mic? Please.
I didn't think you needed one, but...
E ngā hau e wha, tēnā koutou katoa. E mihi ana ki tō tātou kingi tūheitia mo tōna whānau ariki nui, pai marire ki a rātou. Whātālo watu. Kore pe mo ke huwhanga I e whakatapu, ka e tukota whauhaa me mo whakamālo. So my name is Anahila Kanongata, Anahila Lose, Kanongata, you can call me Anahila. It is an honor and a privilege to be here tonight, and I just want to start by thanking the Labour Electorate Committee of Papakura. Jason, thank you for choosing me to be the candidate to stand in this year's election for Papakura. So thank you, Jason, and the LEC for selecting me. If you are new to the Labour Party, it is the LEC that chooses the candidate to stand in Papakura, and it's an honour and a privilege. I know that everybody says that Papakura is a blue seat, but in 2020, Papakura turned red. The party vote here was won by the Labour Party in Papakura, despite the fact that the leader of the opposition stood here in Papakura. So we can do it, so I want to thank you to that. I want to take this opportunity to thank my brother, our elder, Aupito, Sua William Seal. I met Aupito, I think the first time I told him that I was interested in being a candidate, I turned up at an event in Mangere where he was doing an awa ceremony, and I was sitting all the way in the back. And then Aupito had an awa for me that people had to come send it to me. And from that moment, I knew that I had a responsibility not to turn up and hide at the back. But also Aupito, I want to take this opportunity to thank Aupito. He has been the wise counsel. Sometimes it might look like he's telling me off, but he's actually giving a wise counsel in how we should be behaving as junior members of Parliament. In Parliament and as Labour members of Parliament. We're going to miss you, Aupito, and we know that you won't be far. Along with Lua Manuwa Winnie Laban, I know that you two, but we need you. We need you to always knock on the door and ring us. So thank you so much for being a champion for Pacific. And not just that, you actually, Aupito, are a role model. Because you are Samoan, truly Samoan. You bring your Matai title and you bring all your cultures to every time we talk and remind us of that. And what I love about that way of working is, Aupito, that I look at you leaving and we look behind you and you've got Le Maunga Lydia Soseni. Le Maunga is a listed MP, but this year she'll be standing as the candidate for Labour in Mangere. So Le Maunga, if you can please stand up so everybody knows. Aupito has demonstrated that you can do it, that you can be Samoan, and when you do leave, make sure that the person replacing you knows the history, and that's where Le Maunga is. My next door neighbour, he's a humble general practitioner. He was always going to be an All Black, but cancer got in the way. Everyone put your round of applause for the MP for Takanini, and I Dr. Nero Lama. We bring our best wishes from Parliament, from the Prime Minister. That's why he signed a bottle of wine. And our Deputy Prime Minister, our Prime Minister, Right Honourable Chris Hipkins, and our Deputy Prime Minister, Honourable Carmel Sepuloni. The first ever Samoan Tongan Palangi Deputy Prime Minister, and we want to keep her at that. So just remember that one. And of course, our Minister for Pacific People, the Honourable Barbara Edmonds. I'll have to name all of them so you know who the 11 are. They sent their apologies. We've got the Honourable Jenny Salesa, who's standing in Pēmio Otahu. We have got Teresa Ngobi. She's Samoan and she's standing in Otaki. We've got Tangi Utikere, who's a Cook Islander, is standing in Palmerston North. We've got Dan Rosewarne. Now Dan looks like a Palangi, and you might think he's not got no Pacific connection, but he's also got Samoan history in Samoa. So Dan is all the way in Waitaki in the South Island. And we have also, who's retiring along with Alberto, the Honourable Poto Williams, who's the MP for Christchurch East. Poto also sent her apology. Have I remembered everyone? Yeah, I think that's all 11 of us who are Labour members of Parliament. I just want to thank my brothers. I'm the oldest, so I'll just say I'm the older sister. And then we have Paul, who's the middle child, so always trying to please everybody, you know. And then we have Tamati, who's the youngest, who always has to be told to shut up now and then. That's how we operate as brothers. And when I grew up in Hōhua, I used to hang out with the boys. I never hang out with the girls. And I think everybody here will understand that. I've got my brother Talanoa there. But tomorrow is really important. I want to thank the Whaiwhekau here, Reverend Ngahe. We're from Niua, Tautapu. We come all the way from the north of Tonga. Thank you for coming tonight. And I'll take an opportunity later to thank my campaign manager. But tomorrow is very important for the Labour Party. We're split into 6 regions. Region 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and 6. And tomorrow, Region 1, where we've got members of the Labour Party here from Mangere, from Takanini, they're going to rank our candidates in terms of who they want to be in Parliament. So what I want to do is I want to share the speech that I'm going to give tomorrow. So that you can give me feedback after this, and maybe I should change it or not. I always start with acknowledging the tangata whenua, because if you come to my village and you don't go and see the officer kolo, then you know that's something wrong with that. So I always do that as my thank you to the people that looked after me when I landed here. So I am a strong and experienced grandmother, Tongan grandmother, who has served this party, Labour Party, and earned the trust and respect of its members. I have worked really hard, and I've worked hard, and I will continue to work hard to earn the trust and respect of the members who trusted me to be a member of Parliament. When I think of our Prime Minister, the Right Honourable Jacinda Ardern, I think of her as a mother, I think of her as a daughter who looked after our country. And what comes in mind when I think of Jacinda is about past behaviour as an indicator of future behaviour. So for Jacinda, it reminds me of what King Solomon said. What he said, he said above everything else, guard your heart, for everything you do flows within it. And that's the care and love that Jacinda had provided for New Zealand and kept us safe. I've continued to be part of that team that Jacinda had led, and continue that loyalty to our now Prime Minister, the Right Honourable Chris Hipkins. We are a part of a strong, capable team that you can trust. The Whaiwheau here down the road, he's not well, but he sent his love. Whaiwheau Matawai Alewhaio. He said if you think about Papakura, the word that he wants to describe Papakura is the word strong, that we're a strong community. And I want you to know that in the leadership of the Right Honourable Chris Hipkins, we have got a strong, capable team that you can trust. I grew up in a state house in Onehunga, and as I say that, I'm starting to tear up because I think about my parents. But I grew up in a state house in Onehunga, and that didn't just happen. Michael Joseph Savage was the Prime Minister of the time, a Labour Prime Minister, that believed that everybody needed a roof over their head. They needed a home, a house. And before that we can even do anything, the most vulnerable times in our life is when we put our head in our pillow and we close our eyes. Labour believed in putting homes, building homes for New Zealanders. Under the leadership of Jacinda Ardern and now the Right Honourable Chris Hipkins is carrying that in our country, we have built more state houses, more public homes than any other government. And that's why I'm in the Labour Party. I want to talk about why would I need to continue as a Member of Parliament when I've been there 3 terms as a list MP. I want to talk about the pathway to residence for overstayers. We talk about overstayers, but we don't see the faces of the children. This year, just like your child, if your children were born here, can you put your hand up? If your children are born in New Zealand, can you put your hand up? My daughter Malo is 17 this year. 17 years ago, the law changed that if your child is born in New Zealand, they inherit your citizenship or your permanent residence. There are children who's doing really well at university, who's just like your child, was grown in this country, just like your child that you love. Their parents love them, but they are overstayers' parents. They have no status. They don't have a passport. They can't go to university. They can't go and get a good, decent job because their parents are overstayers. And despite the fact that we're born in this country, they can't go to university, kids who are doing really well. I know 2 of them, and I don't want to say their name, but I'll just call them Mere and Sione. When they're here in Papakura, there are students who are highly performing, who deserves to go to university of no fault of their own. They're going to end up working on the factory floor. They're going to end up working at McDonald's. We've got Sione, all the way in Orehunga, who sits in class, and he tells me, some days I'm so scared when somebody comes to knock at the teacher, I'm thinking they're coming for me. He is a prefect at his school. He can't go to university. That's why I want to stay in Parliament. The job hasn't been done. We've built homes for New Zealanders. We've bought lunches at school for our kids. We have done so much. We have gone into lockdown to save the most vulnerable. But for me, the job is not done. I need you to vote for the Labour Party this year, to vote for me. I need to be in Parliament to finish the job. The Sione and the Mere. The children of overstayers deserve the same rights as your children, as my children, to be able to go to university if they want to be able to get a decent job if they want to, not be ripped off by the system of no fault of their own. So this year, I'm asking you, 1 vote. Give the Labour Party your party vote. The Prime Minister we've got now, the Right Honourable Chris Hipkins, he's the Prime Minister for our times. Jacinda took us up here for the last 5 years. Chris Hipkins has got us here now. Aupito has given us his blessing that he will support us. I want to end by saying, my mother was an overstayer in this country. She forgot her permanent resident, and she said to me, you need to vote for the Labour Party, because it was through her lawyer, Len Brown, that she was able to get permanent residence, and she was able to also buy a house through that. And for that, I want that for every person here in New Zealand. And I want everyone here to know that it is okay to be yourself. It is okay to come as a Samoan. It is okay to come as a Cook Islander. It is okay to do that. But if you have love in your heart, I remember in 1962, Queen Charlotte spoke, Tonga has just celebrated, in Hawaii, has celebrated the 100 years of Tonga's independence. She talked about love. She talked about love and how we need to tauhi, how we need to keep the values that we have. Ke tauhi tau koroa. If you really feel for those children who we need to continue fighting for, then I ask you, please, vote for the Labour Party. Party vote Labour. And if you live here in Papakura, give me the vote as well. I want to take this opportunity to thank thank my family. Everyone here is related to me. The speech that I did in Parliament at the end, I called every household in my village in Hofua, and I named every household. Unfortunately, I don't have the singing voice. Talanoa has the singing voice. Robeti here has the singing voice. Charlie has the singing voice. But maybe I'm the one that needed to talk. But I called everyone that we've got a big job ahead of us. And in order to do that, we all have to come together. Kau katoa. So I just want you to give a big round of applause to my family in here. From Hofua. From Kolomai. Sorry, Latu. From Kolomai. From Niua. We need you to do this. And I think this is the first time that I've spoken that these two at the back hasn't told me that I've spoken for a long time. But I want to thank the kids who are here. Remember, all the kids who are here today, Siwa, Tutanikai. Yeah, that's them. We're doing it for them. And for all the overstayers kids, just like them, we're doing this for them. And on that note, I want to bring it home now. We can do this. We can do 2 ticks for labour in Papakura. We can do this. What's the ending? Should I end this with, guys? A song. We're going to have... I taught people in Parliament how to do La Whare in the Tongan way. So these two are going to come to the front. These guys are going to play a fast song. And we're just going to do La Whare. Because none of us are Taurungas. And guess what? We can do this. We can do this. We got this. Bring it on. And then all my parliamentary colleagues come up to Opito, Mama, and I, and all the Labour candidates, say to them. Correct? Yeah. Come on, Jason. Come on, Jason. We're going to teach Jason and how to do the Dula Whare.
Can we give these two a big hand? We really do need to thank our Māori brothers for being Tongans tonight. And I think this is the other beauty of what Anahila brings to Parliament. Is her ability to make the connection across. Because we often, even though we have similar aspirations and similar challenges as Māori and Pacifica here in Aotearoa, New Zealand, often, because the place is so siloed, it's actually quite difficult to come together. And so you need people who are the conduits, the bridges, constantly with so many different groups in there. And that's one of the other strengths, Anahila. I suppose the final thing I'd say, I didn't, like these two, I suddenly was shown a poster and Anahila says, oh, you're the guest speaker. And she has a knack for getting people to do things that people might be uncomfortable with. But I think the thing that will always be remembered and appreciated is her smile, and her happiness and joy is contagious. You know what I mean? That you might be angry at somebody, but once that smile beams through, and her smile is contagious, but her cry is also contagious. So when she starts crying, we all end up crying. Anyway, please join with me in thanking our brothers. I actually thought the Labour Party should have had these two MC all of our campaigns. That way we don't have to pay anybody.
Thank you. Thank you for those very kind words. We are going to finish the raffling, all of that stuff off with this, which is the super pack that has been donated tonight. Anahila, what can you tell us about what's in there?
Right, the super pack has got a kawhauri from Fiji. It's got a e from Solomon Island. It's got a kato from Samoa, and it's got some tangai pelo pillowcases. Yeah. So this is a ladies' one. Yeah. And then it's got earrings. It's got kahoa. Yeah.
There you go. So it is. It's a beautifully donated gift pack that's up for grabs tonight. This is one of the final items that we're going to be the final item that we're auctioning off tonight. So we're going to kick things off with a nice round bid of 100 New Zealand dollars. 100, 200. 300, thank you. 400? 300 going once. So what was that in the middle? 400 in the middle. Thank you very much. 500 down the front. Do I hear a 600? 500 down the front. I'll take a 550. 500 down the front, going once. Going twice. Sold. Congratulations. Follow that way. Follow that way. Yeah, fine. Okay, we have a random bunch of spot prizes that Anahila has got in her hands, and she's going to walk around now and she's going to hand some of these spot prizes out to people that you see in the audience. I want to say thank you to everybody for being here tonight. This has been a beautiful evening. We have got one final musical number from our first 15. They're going, really? Have we? This is the yeah? Are you prepared to do a song right now? Is that the song that you know that you're doing? Good. Okay, that's good. Okay. This one is the Vai Ko Whakalave Lave. That one. What song would you like to sing tonight?
Our final piece we'll perform for you guys is a composition by Koita Lotte, and it is called Siwili Pasifiki, the Jewel of the Pacific. Hope you guys enjoy.
we are scarily close to the finish, and we are going to ask our Reverend to come back up and do the karakia when the time is right, just to wrap up our evening appropriately. Right now, Ofena's just backstage counting all of the money from tonight, from the auctions, from the raffles, and she hasn't appeared just yet, so I think we might need a bit more time. Is there one more song in the tank that you guys have got for us that we could do just while they're finishing counting up the final total for tonight?
So don't forget, no more money in the pocket. So any more? Where's our basket?
It's being counted. That's what they've got.
No, we got plenty of money in our pocket.
Okay.
Let's put some more money into our life.
See, I knew some of you were a bit shy about this. So there's still time.
Yeah, still plenty of money.
Anahita, have you got a bank account number? Anahita will follow up with a bank account number. And remember, you're all volunteers as of about next 5 minutes. More songs. I knew there was some cash. Okay. I've got some more cash.
going to finish up the night. I'm going to call out back onto the stage Ofina, who is Anahila's campaign manager, who is also going to give everybody a bit of a wrap up.
Sorry. My name is Maka Pailate. I'm actually Anahila's brother. And a couple of years ago, we happened to do a lot of work for Tonga when Tonga hit the tsunami. And at the beginning of this year, we did it again for the Hawke's Bay people. And we call ourselves the Aotearoa Tongan Response. And she's a chair of our committee. Well, earlier on, I called everyone and we came over here, we put a little bit of money there. But I'm so mahana right now, so mahana. The boss said to me, go over there, donate another $1,000 to Anahila's campaign. And we are right here, right now, to donate to Anahila's campaign another $1,000. Whatever it is that we already done. Thank you. Mahalo.
Wow, yeah, all right. Thank you for that contribution. I'm going to call Ofina up here so that she can just make a few acknowledgements before we wrap up and call our Reverend back up onto the stage for our closing karakia. Ofina.
Thank you. O ko ke hupanga e whakatapu koe au tano whaki. Ka e whakahoko e tō whatongia o e whiawhini. A ko hingoa ko Ofina me Neil Babbage, ko glele mai pe me he whakasia ko veongo. Loto kai ano, tutu anga kava, so good evening. Ngā mihi atu kia koutou katoa ko Ofina me Neil Babbage aho. It's my absolute pleasure to wrap up this evening with just a few final acknowledgements. So as mentioned before, I am Anahila's campaign manager, and I just want to thank Anahila for putting her trust in me in terms of her 2023 Anahila for Papakura campaign. So we just have a few acknowledgements. The first one is to thank the Papakura LEC Chair, Jason Titchin, for your support. Also want to acknowledge Honourable Apito Su'a William Seal. Third time I've seen him this week. I also want to acknowledge the different communities and leaders who are here today in support of Anahila. And I don't think I will do you justice by reading out each and every one of your names, but Anahila appreciates your love and support, and we look forward for you joining us on this campaign trail. I want to acknowledge the young Tongan maidens who graced our stage this evening, and also their families for their support. I want to acknowledge the local businesses, our Tongan business, Duidui Fashion, who's here with us. As well as local businesses who have gotten behind Anahila. And I especially want to shout out to Claudia at Māori Parawa House, and also Amar at Hyper Beam New Zealand. And I just want to also acknowledge our beautiful men and their singing voices this evening. That's a small token of our appreciation, Malo Albito. And finally, I want to acknowledge our amazing MCs. Birthday MP Tamati and MP Paul Eagle cannot say thank you enough for showing your love and support for Anahila. And I think it's a testament for the type of person that she is. So thank you very much. So finally, finally, in terms of how much money that we have raised this evening, for our auction, we raised $1,750. Our raffles, we raised $130. Thank you. Our ticket door sales, so this doesn't include the already pre-sold tickets. So these are the, this is the amount of money that has come through the door this evening, $2,425. And finally, all the dancers this evening, we raised $2,556. And then with the last minute contribution, thank you so much to the ARTG team, to Maka and the team for their generous $1,000 donation. We are at $7,961. Thank you so much. I think someone's gonna donate $39 so we can push it up to $8,000. Tamati is gonna donate, so it's total $8,000. That's all for me this evening. Thank you very much. Leva leva malanga kata tawat.
Thank you very much for the opportunity tonight, and I thought that I'm only saying the beginning, but I'm staying for the rest of the evening, so it's also a blessing for me to have a closing prayer tonight. Before we sing the closing prayer tonight, I like the words of this area, Papakula. I Google it while we counting the money, and the Papakula mean Papa mean if. So if mean the tafonua, the kele, the soil. And kula mean red, kula. Lano kula, the if, lano kula. So it's reflecting tonight the Labour Party, the lano kula, the winning for the next election. It also represents the rich and also the richness and the fertile of the soil. It also reflects us. We are living on the soil. We are the soil that providing food, providing life for the people around in our community. So I would like to say malo apito for all of you who are here tonight. O toa mawhiu mau whawhetai ki hoa whio, whakakoloa mo ui ko whaima ki mautoro. A manake ke mautuku he pōni, mau kore atu e tāpua ku mawhiu hoa whio, awe hao ki mautoro ko mahi apita ki taha. Koe tōnia ki mautoro i Eklesia e ki pa moe ofa e o toa, pa moe whiu halo mai e manu ni. Maro tō whae te mautoro ko toa pe, i e whiwhini o nā hiri, kai whai pia kai ngata. Amen.